हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू द एनाटॉमी सीरीज। आज के एनाटॉमी सीरीज में हम बात करेंगे बाइसेप्स के बारे में। राइट। तो बाइसेप्स में बेसिकली टू पार्ट्स होते हैं। देयर इज ए शॉर्ट हेड एंड देयर इज अ लॉन्ग हेड। इसमें दिख नहीं रहा है, आई एम नॉट वेरी। ऐसा कुछ मैं मॉडल है क्या जिसमें मैं दिखेगा नहीं दिखेगा भाई। बट आई एम जस्ट इंट्यूटिवली एक्सपीरियंसिंग दिस इज द शॉर्ट हेड, दिस इज द लॉन्ग। ओके। अब इन दोनों का फंक्शन एक में ही ट्रेन हो जाता है इन द सेंस दैट वो द फंक्शन ऑफ द बाइसेप्स मसल ग्रुप इज टू बेसिकली flex the elbow this way. Okay, so here is the load, here is the muscle, and this is the lever arm, and you're flexing this way, and so your bicep is getting flexed. Okay, so that is the role of the bicep muscle, and both the long head and the short head work towards that same goal. The only difference is that the short head is targeted more in this position, right? So you have basically you have this entire range of motion, right? So you have from this position to this position, so you can bring it to this, right? And so the long head, and so this position is the halfway position. So above the halfway position, the short head works more. The short head has a bigger role in pulling it upward more, and the long head is actually in the this region, less than half, right? In that region it works more. So when you stretch, when the bicep is stretched, the long head is working very overtime, kind of, and then you pull it, and now above this point, the short head is working to flex it more, right? Now that is the main. So you can train your biceps with one simple bicep curl movement, and it will target both the short head and long head. Now some people do variations, as in which they target the short head more and not the long head. So if I give a very quick example, there is a exercise which is cable curl. Okay, and cable curl you can stretch it, but most people just focus on the flex, because cable curl at the highest point you still have a tension, so you can work the short head more in that range. Similarly, a preacher curl in which you rest your arm on a pad, and then you're stretching your bicep like that and pulling back, so like flexing it. But the stretch is where most of the tension is. So in that case, the long head works more in that region. Okay. So people do that, but you can in the start at least do it with a simple bicep curl, and both your heads will be trained. Now, part of the biceps, which is technically not the part of a part of the biceps, is called brachialis. Okay, brachialis is basically there are like two head. Okay, I'm gonna show it with these fingers. So there are the two heads. So this is the short head, this is the long head, and now there is this between thing, which is this thumb, which is like this small muscle, which is the brachialis. It's a small muscle, but it makes a huge visual difference. Right? It's somewhere present over here inside, right? And it the way of working it is basically you can work it when you're doing a simple bicep curl, but if you change your grip a little bit, it changes the direction, and now the brachialis is getting worked more. Okay. Yeah, this is a good segue into grips for these exercises. So this is called a protonated grip. This is called a supinated grip, and this is called a neutral grip. Okay. Okay. Protonated in the protonated group. Before that, the bicep also has one more function. It's one is flexure, but the other is just rotation of the arm in this way, right? Which is why you can see when I do this, the bicep gets flexed, even though I am not flexing it entirely. Hence, a lot of people do bicep curls in the supinated grip because it targets both the functions of the bicep. You can also do it in the protonated grip. It will target the bicep muscles, but it will also target the brachialis muscle more, right? So when you are in the group, or you do a protonated grip, or you do a neutral grip. Whereas if you want to train the biceps more, you do a supinated grip. That's been about the biceps. Now, brachialis is also tied to a muscle in the forearm called brachioradialis. Okay, so when I do this and when I flex, so this muscle that gets flexed is the brachioradialis, and it's targeted heavily when you do a protonated grip. In neutral grip, also it is targeted. Kind of also in supinated grip, but if you want to really target a muscle, you cannot have this much of stimulation to it. You have to give the maximum amount of stimulation that you can give to that muscle. And for brachioradialis and even for brachialis, protonated group is the maximum stimulation that you can give. Brachialis actually doesn't differ that much between the neutral grip and the protonated grip, but brachioradialis does. So that's about the biceps. Meet again in the next video.